Abandonment issues or abandonment pain is some of the hardest and trickiest wounds to treat in the human psyche, in my opinion. I mean, this is kind of different to abandonment trauma, where that chronic early childhood abandonment trauma can show up in quite severe ways. But I think there's not a person on the planet who hasn't had some sort of hurts as a result of growing up, because parenting's friggin' hard. And so healing those little micro wounds in adulthood is really hard. So I just want to talk about some of the ways that abandonment issues might show up unexpectedly, and I'll talk about just the traditional sort of ways later. But some of the ways they show up in adulthood that you wouldn't expect. Have you ever met someone who's just super independent and uber free and like lives their life and appears like they have it all together, but they're not going to be tied down to anyone or anything? And I mean, some of that can be healthy, but if you look below the surface, sometimes there's a deeper compensation happening. Number two is being uber tough and strong. So that sort of person you might be a little bit intimidated by, or who tends to always come off as like having the tough responses, and nothing phases them, nothing gets to them. They're like, a bit fearsome. And number three is claiming to do casual hookups, but not actually ever committing or being vulnerable or showing up in relationships where you have to connect authentically. Now, no judgment for casual hookups, that's great, but after a while, maybe it looks like you're avoiding the abandonment issues altogether. So when we avoid all this stuff, you can never really heal it because it just sits there in the background, and the pain isn't actually felt ever. And then you can't actually do anything about it because it's like you're uber independent, you're uber free, you're uber cool, or you're uber tough and strong. So just there's some thoughts and, all the compassion in the world to those issues, because I actually think they're pretty tricky. So in my next video, I'll talk about how to heal those abandonment issues, especially the ones that are hiding, lurking in the shadows.